Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Simtrax Broadcasting. We're coming to you live here with the USORL Series at the Collins 125 at Richmond. We are looking at last week's winner of Garrett Sydnor, knocking down a third-place start here during qualifying. Daryl Harris out there as well, and the number 9 Chevrolet going ahead and getting his first lap in. A couple of drivers out there kind of on edge here on a small track like this is Daryl Harris. Losing it through 1 and 2. Boy, he's going to hate that we got him on camera for that one. But nevertheless, we're going to see how he does. I think he's going to try one more time. Maybe, as right now he'll actually have an 11th place start. Joining alongside me tonight, surprisingly enough, Douglas Ross, you have made it in time to join us here at Richmond. This is going to be a tough track, especially here in Virginia. Very tough with what we see. And obviously you can see as we take a look at Daryl Harris that when iRacing has updated this track, notice the marbles that sit at the top. So, that has got to play a factor into tonight, as well as coming off short track, more short track racing for these guys. I bet you it's going to be a nail biter even to the end.
Oh, definitely. Richmond is definitely going to be a nail biter when it comes to some of these drivers. I mean, a lot of them are going to try and ride that high lane, but like you said, a lot more marbles that are going to be up on that track in the high grooves. So anticipate to see drivers run more towards the low lane for tonight.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're already out there in the chat. Jay was waiting on us and is here now. Is it snowing there? Yes, I do believe so. It is currently snowing at Richmond, but fortunately in iRacing there is no snow here, which is excellent. DJ is hoping that we didn't see that. Yes, we saw every single second of that one. Went ahead and gave a kiss to the wall between 1 and 2. So, man, oh, man, he's going to hate that. Fortunately, I do not. The tower may show 7 here on our screen, but there are more than 7 drivers out there. I believe we're looking at 12, Hen Bordeaux and Tommy Bordeaux. A little late here to the run, but that nevertheless we're still going to have a great run here tonight. Zach Krastowski being one of the faster drivers out here tonight. He's going to be looking to have a solid run, as well as William Page. Now, William Page actually, if I'm not mistaken, reverting back to the mellow yellow machine to try to see if he can drum up a little luck here. Right now, that 42 machine is actually, I hate to say it, on a little bit of a slump here lately. Right now, he rolled around up top 10 most of last week, but was just unable to come away with a podium finish. And as we get closer and closer to the playoffs here, right now, William Page is starting to feel a lot of pressure here. He wants to see if he can come in strong tonight. And that 42 Ford is really going to have to hang in there, and really a lot better than last week. Speaking of which, Noah Joyce, another driver. If he could just figure out how to finish the race and stay clean, which is a lot harder to do, especially at a short track, you kind of, guys start feeling a little bit wishy-washy out here, whether their night is going to be a success or is it going to be a failure. To me, Douglas, looking at a track like this, and when you get to Richmond where guys are beating the doors in on turn exits here, I would say just being able to finish the race would be a positive.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, we ended up seeing last week a lot of people just barely unscathed Bristol. Tonight is probably going to be the same story when it comes to Richmond. I mean, yeah, like you said, Richmond is one of those typical short tracks, if you want to consider it a short track. So definitely it's going to be entertaining to see what happens tonight.
All right, well, we do come off of Bristol, which is shaped more like a mixing bowl, so everybody feels very confident and uses the banking of those turns. The banking not as prevalent here tonight. It's going to be a little, it is going to have some lean to it, but not as much as you would think, as we sit right on top here of the Harbor Freight 49 Ford of Scott Fleener, who's currently holding the top spot here in the warm-up. Notice how that banking just isn't cupping these guys in quite as much. So they're going to be using that pedal right in the middle a lot harder here tonight. You will definitely see a few rotors out there glowing as they try to come to a slowdown, try to make sure they can get fast. And right now, that's Scott Fleener actually testing his entry in the pit. Don't blame him. Definitely as a hard penalty to take if these guys do end up speeding down pit road. All right, well, we've only got about another minute and a half here of the warm-up, so we're going to take a quick peek at what our race is going to consist here of tonight for the Collins 125. 125, of course, being that 125 laps we're going to be running tonight. 3 sets of tires will be hanging out down there in the pits with a 67% fuel limit. I expect to see our fuel go somewhere around about that 50 lap mark, if not up to 60. It should be a good solid time and amount of laps that these guys should be able to go on the sets of tires that they have been allotted. Unfortunately for the drivers, there are no fast repairs here in this fixed setup league. It's going to be tough for them. They've got to mind their P's and Q's out there and be careful. One little slip up, we're going to have some trouble. This being our 22nd race here with a temperature of 74 degrees on the ground. I think I was calling a race last night that the track was just as cold, and we saw a lot of tire slippage, especially at a track like Iowa. I believe, dear Douglas, we're going to be seeing much of the same at Richmond.
Oh, yeah, you're definitely going to be seeing a lot of the same stuff here in Richmond. You're most definitely going to see it.
Yeah, well, right now, about another 20 seconds left here in the warm-up. Ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate you guys joining us here at SimTracks for the broadcast here tonight. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. I am watching it out there. We've got a few different other leagues kind of poking in a little bit. I believe the back markers was actually looking for me earlier tonight, but we're sticking with the USRL series, especially in these Xfinity cars. This should be going on. Miss Ramos, appreciate you joining us out here. It should be a solid run. I'm definitely kind of going to be rally capping here. Garrett Sydnor said he wasn't going to be very good at Bristol and ended up winning it, so he's been actually 2 for 2 here in the playoffs. Can he go 3 for 3? I would say yes. Right now is his starting position will be third. He's going to have a good opportunity, especially at a short track. I wouldn't want to fight my way forward, but man, sometimes you got to do it, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts or the way around it. All right, let's go ahead and get to our starting grid here for the night. Moving on. Luke Smith will take that number 1 spot. He's been kind of putting around third a couple of times here. He's going to be looking to see if he can come away with a win. He'll be sitting in that number 1 spot next to Scott Fleener. Fleener will be to the outside. And that means Garrett Sydnor. We see him there in the number 50 Ford. He'll be sitting third next to Darren Ingram. Noah Joyce is 5th. Cal Lovell is 6th. Zach Krostowski and Hen Bordeaux will be starting in row number 4. Moving on, John Peterson, who sits 9th next to Jace Nelson. They're calling him the legend out here, as he's currently sitting in 10th. Right now, Darrell Harris is going to be bringing up the back end here of the field. Unfortunately, sitting in 11th next to Tommy Bordeaux. That's going to be a tough start here for Tommy Bordeaux, as he will be in the outside of row number 6. And finishing out our field, William Page will be sitting 13th. Yuck. William Page is going to be looking to chop his way through. Remember, I said he's got to have a good night run here tonight, and unfortunately that is not exactly the best place that he did want to start for the Mellow Yellow Machine sitting out back. All right, Luke Smith getting ready to take this one off here. Next time around, as the pace car lights are off, short track, we get more than 1 lap here, so we'll be getting underway here in just a moment. As you can see, Barney going ahead and switching the flags out, sticking the other one in the bucket and going ahead and grabbing a hold of that green flag as the pace cars bring these guys around the 1 mile track just one more time. Fortunately, under a scheduled pace lap. Hopefully we don't have too many cautions here tonight. Douglas, real quick as we head down our backstretch here. A couple of drivers pretty hot and heavy about a solid finish here tonight. We know Luke Smith, Scott Fleener, and Garrett Sydnor are going to be fast. Who's our sleeper tonight?
You know what? I got to put my sleeper on one end, and I think that's got to go to Noah Joyce in the 31. He's definitely going to be looking for redemption tonight after last week at Bristol.
Excellent. I love the way you think. Luke Smith, Scott Fleener, off we go. Green flag is out, and off we have it as the 39 Chevrolet looking for a seam as he shoots into turn number 1. He's got it. But no can do, making a full clear there on Scott Fleener. Fleener's going to hold him to the inside as he stays up and close to the wall. Not bad there for Sydnor, making a clear there on Darren Ingram. That'll give him a little breathing room as they come slinging out of 4. And this lap is going to go to Luke Smith, leading lap number 1. Not bad there so far, as right now that Flex Pro machine is hanging in there, but the Harbor Freight Tools 49 Ford is going to have to drop back. Looks like we're heading single file. Garrett Sydnor taking a quick peek there to the inside. No can do. And we are now shutting the door. 1, 2, and 3. Smith, Fleener, Sydnor. Away we go to start lap number 3.
Luke Smith, Scott Fleener, and Garrett Sydnor, they are steadily starting to increase their lead over 4th place Darren Ingram, which he is having company by Noah Joyce. Joyce is trying to peek onto the outside, didn't get it done, and it looks like Noah Joyce will have to settle for spot number 5, as right now it looks like up front, it looks like Garrett Sydnor is trying to move to the inside of Scott Fleener.
Yeah, Sydnor looking to be the first driver in the top 7 who to move a position. Everybody else has been pretty concreted into their qualifying position here so far. Sydnor, 2 for 2 so far. The playoffs here, looking for that 3rd. So Chevrolet sitting in the number 1 spot. Scott Fleener, Garrett Sydnor sitting in their Fords for 2nd and 3rd, and 2 Toyotas of Darren Ingram and Noah Joyce. Not bad for the Toyota team as they are moved up to 4th and 5th. As they hang out there, and right now it looks like the imports are going to hang out in the top 5, trying to see if they can maintain, but I believe we got a battle here for 2nd, and finally Garrett Sydnor looks like he's got a line here, having to dive hard into turn number 1, and that is going to give him a rough turn to exit, but he remains side by side out there with Scott Fleener.
Garrett Sydnor still looking into that inside, barely having the edge from Fleener, but Fleener still having that run onto the outside line. Hey, we thought that we couldn't run on the outside line because of those marbles. It doesn't seem like it's bothering Scott Fleener all too much.
Yeah, Fleener having to be very careful, though, as he may possibly be ice skating there on the outside. Fleener losing the position here for just a moment as we move to the left front fender here of Scott Fleener. Not a full clear here by Garrett Sydnor, as Sydnor is noticing this short track is definitely giving these guys a workout. A lot of moving here, a lot of close quarter racing, and not a lot of room for mistakes. So great job here by Garrett Sydnor, and actually our top 5 here, making a couple different shifts and moves. Garrett Sydnor making the full clear, and that is going to move Sydnor up into 2nd, and Noah Joyce during that time in the 31 Toyota has overcome Darren Ingram. So the Budweiser machine now sits 4th. We look back off of Fleener, and that is Joyce trying to chase him down, but he's got about 3/4 of a second to do it.
Definitely got 3/4 of a second to do it, but slowly gaining ground. And unfortunately, while we're actually paying attention to this, one driver who does seem to be falling off the pace majorly is William Page, who ended up starting in the dead last position. Page is almost really close to becoming a lap down, if not in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, this says there was a problem at the beginning of the race here with William Page. We're seeing if we can find an area where he ended up to get this, to end up getting tangled up here. It looks like right there he had a disconnect. There, he's on the inside. There was his disconnect. Yeah, he had a full blink out, and then he reconnected, and that actually put him over half a lap off pace here, which is hateful for William Page, but hopefully he is able to continue. That was us actually sitting in the nosebleed seats, trying to see if we could find that mellow yellow machine, but unfortunately reconnected, and man, oh man, he's still back here on lap 10, coming up to the line to start lap number 11. Halfway through already. Through lap number 11 is going to be Luke Smith, who has led all 12 laps here of this race. Sydnor and Fleener holding him to a solid line, though. Right now, Luke Smith could definitely use to stop being the bridesmaid here and finally come away with more than just a bouquet here at the end. So maybe he'll have an opportunity to come away with a win. We've seen Luke Smith come away with close finishes, but haven't really seen him get a commanding lead. So we're hoping Cremant is able to do a little something on here tonight. But Sydnor and Fleener have been tough drivers to beat out there. Douglas, I want you to talk to me a little bit about Tommy Bordeaux. This guy has moved up 5 positions here on the night. Is the short track in his thing?
It very well could be. Of course, Tommy Bordeaux, who ended up starting in spot number 12, currently sitting now in spot number 7. He is running slightly faster lap times than some of the guys that are currently sitting in front of him. And definitely, as we got actually a battle going on for the number 5 slot, that was between Cal Lovell and Darren Ingram. It looks like Cal Lovell will break himself into the top 5.
All right, quick move there by Cal Lovell. That finally gives him a position gained on the night. Ingram is now rolled back, not one, but 2 positions here, starting lap number 16. 21 Toyota is looking to have some trouble here. We talked about Tommy Bordeaux coming up with some different speed and faster times. He was off by a second, almost 2 seconds, has now cut that the distance between Darren Ingram and Tommy Bordeaux down to less than a second. Sitting just about 3/4 of a second to be exact as they continue to reel each other in. Darren Ingram, I'm trying to figure out even during his times whether he is falling off or is Tommy Bordeaux that much faster. Right now, currently, I'm seeing with a 23:14 out of Darren Ingram and Tommy Bordeaux with a 22:84. That is enough to be rolling in the top 3. So Tommy Bordeaux may be going up there and joining these guys before too much longer. And Darren Ingram looks like he may just be the fly on the wall. And everybody's going to be passing him tonight.
Most definitely. Ingram is going to have to probably pick up at least a couple of tenths of a second to at least catch up with the rest of the pack, as he is losing ground steadily each and every lap. And it looks like Tommy Bordeaux, it looks like he has caught him. We might be seeing a battle here for spot number 6 in a little bit.
Yeah, right now this is a great run here by Tommy Bordeaux. And we'll ride along with him currently. Wow. Shoots into that turn a lot later onto the brakes before he decides to move. Check out, I'll tell you what, look at Tommy Bordeaux's line. This is smooth. Very herky-jerky there with Darren Ingram. You see him having a dive down toward the bottom, a little bit of backfiring out of the exhaust. And Tommy Bordeaux, this thing is on a rail right now. Inside he goes. Darren Ingram in the rear view. That was easy. So Tommy Bordeaux a little early on the inside, and that he's going to pay him for just a little bit. A little bit slower that lap as he comes away with a pass, so not bad there. Tommy Bordeaux, 6 spots gained. He's getting in that sixth area. Right now, Garrett Sydnor, and I'll tell you what, look at these 3. Smith, Sydnor, and Fleener. Away from the rest of the pack here. Fleener's looking about a 1.25 seconds back is where we find Noah Joyce. Yeah, Joyce getting that breakaway you were talking about there, Douglas, and I'm thinking Joyce is, that's that sleeper we were talking about, but man, has he got some ground to make up. Taking a look at his last lap, he is running about, actually, he's running about 0.3 faster than our leader. Shouldn't take long here for Noah Joyce. Hopefully we are able to see him reel him in very soon here. And we'll see if we got anything going on. Let's check back in on John Peterson. I think Peterson's under fire. Right now looking to see if that Kellogg's machine is in some trouble here. Let's get a little bit closer. Yep, right there. Right now that is John Peterson regaining 9th position. Darrell Harris is now to 8th. Harrison, the number 9. We saw him slick out and smack the wall during qualifying. And ended up in some trouble. William Page still remains down 12 seconds. So fortunately, that does look like he's going to be about half the track off. Which if he can maintain that, that's okay. I think he may be rally capping on a caution. Seeing that we are on lap 125 here. Lap 25 is what we're on. 100 laps left to go here during this race. And boy, look at Scott Fleener shoot in on Sydnor there. Boy, we just moved over the camera to catch that just in time. We'll check and see. Douglas, are you seeing anything else out there on the track? Anything little funny going on out there with Scott Fleener's car?
Not really from what I'm seeing, but I mean, Fleener is running a couple of hundredths slower than Garrett Sydnor, but Fleener is slowly losing ground from Luke Smith and Garrett Sydnor. He may have ended up using the tires up on that end.
Wow. I wonder if Fleener was kind of giving it a Hail Mary there to kind of shoot it in and turn. Way fast there as he entered the turn much faster. And that may be costing him here. Oh, man, I hope William Page has not had a disconnect again. And we may have our first driver a lap down. And, yep, William Page goes a lap down here. Boy, that mellow yellow machine just cannot get a break here the past few weeks. Just can't get a break. All right, coming down into pit road. Looks like Jace Nelson is going to be our first taker. As we were playing around here in the back of the field. Let's rotate up to the Wendy's machine of Zach Krastowski. Now, still a good race here so far, and you don't see a whole lot of bumping and banging, guys not smashing off each other. But you may be questioning, hey, what about that car count? Well, you can help that. Go ahead and find the USORL League guys out there on iRacing. Apply. They're looking for drivers. There's no harm in trying. And going ahead and coming out here and racing with these guys in the Xfinity cars. They make it look easy, but I'm sure a few guys will help you as soon as you join up with the team. And they'll teach you how to drive these cars and come put a car count out here and start jacking these guys up. I'm telling you, if we can get 25, 30 drivers out there on the track, Douglas, and honestly, that's an awesome number, not just from a our standpoint here in the broadcasting booth, but out on the track as well. When you're racing with 10 guys, it's okay. You can make it a little racy. You're hammered in there with 25, 30 of them out there on the track. Man, it makes your options very slim in the racing a lot better.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And I've raced with a whole bunch of leagues that are probably about over a 40 car count even, and it just makes the race more fun.
Oh yeah, I would say you gotta give iRacing a little wiggle room though when they start getting into things like a little bit of net code out there, trying to team up, 40 to 43 people out there on the same track and putting them within a couple of inches of each other. That definitely makes it a pretty sketchy situation, trying to keep them all nice and close together. All right, Luke Smith has lapped 2 vehicles here tonight, William Page and Jace Nelson. Both those gentlemen have taken it back to the garage here tonight. Right now I'm showing Jace Nelson made it all the way to lap number 28. Came down in pit and now has retired. So I don't know if the legend is having some trouble here tonight or is fighting the same issues that William Page might be. But speaking of fighting, I do want to give a quick shout out here for Hen Bordeaux, for the Los Angeles Fire Department out there. The paint scheme, as those guys out there are definitely getting actually the polar opposite here of what we're dealing with in the southeast. We're fighting a lot of snow and coldness, and they are fighting a raging fire that they just cannot slow down.
Yeah, most definitely. I've witnessed a lot of the stuff that's been happening in Los Angeles, so big thank you to Hen Bordeaux for sponsoring the Los Angeles Fire Department for everything that they're doing so far for the community of Los Angeles.
Yep. Hopefully they're all staying safe and continue to do what they do best so we can do what we do best. And Bordeaux, appreciate you. Do want to give you a quick shout out there while we had you in the frame, as we got Tommy Bordeaux up to 6th, still remaining in 6th, seems to have slowed down the roll here. 23:42, doesn't seem any worse for the wear though, might be just hanging out for a little while until it is time to pit. Doesn't look like Darren Ingram is making any sort of ground here or huge strides to reach out there and get a hold of Tommy Bordeaux to at least reobtain one of the lost positions here of the night. Ooh, yeah, nice shot here of the back of the stands. Those are the nosebleed seats. Jay, as I let me know if that's where you ended up being there toward the sitting place out there on the track. Kind of here in the fan cam where we sit here in the stands. This is normally just about where I sit. I think you get a good view here of the track, how everybody's separated. You do see 1, 2, and 3. Here's Noah Joyce sitting in 4th. John Peterson will be coming around here in just a moment as you see him coming through 3 and 4 across the line to get his 39th lap started here of the night. And right now you see we're getting a solid spread here. Not too many guys being able to reach out and touch each other. And we may just be ticking some laps off here, Douglas, with I would say without really any racing. Guys just going to be knocking some laps down, putting some rubber down on the track, And this may come down to a little bit of a pit strategy call. Guys may just throw on a couple set of tires and see if they can jump up that 6 or 7 seconds they may be lacking.
Yeah, most definitely. And pit stop strategy is going to definitely play into effect when it comes to a USORL Cup Series race, because as we know, pit stop strategy has changed the effect of the race. And I'll also put it to you this way. We already know that these drivers are capable of running these tires down so much to where it's almost bare. So we're going to be interesting to see.
So you thinking it might be a possibility that we may see drivers like Luke Smith try to just run this out until he's out of fuel?
It almost very well could be. It depends if the fuel strategy is going to play effect. It really all depends. What's more important, tires or fuel? And from some drivers' perspective, it could be either or.
Awesome. Well, we'll definitely keep our eye out for that. Right now, Luke Smith has been commanding this race. 44 laps when he comes to the line is how many laps he has led. Every single one of them here so far. Sydnor and Fleener may have to change their strategies here a little bit. I would say we are probably getting pretty close here to our fuel window. 67%, they may be able to stretch, like I said, may be able to stretch it about that 55 to 60 mark. But we'll hold our breath and see if that is going to be the case. I think a little battle is going on out back there with Zach Krastowski and Hen Bordeaux. And I think Darren Ingram may have caught up to Tommy, as Tommy burned his stuff up here. 24.88 is his last lap time, and the 57 Ford is falling backwards here.
Yeah, Tommy was riding that high lane for a big majority of the race, so I think running that high lane really burned out his tires.
Well, it looks like he may be coming down to change them. He was one out of the 7 Fords that started this race. And he'll be heading back to one Ford has retired of William Page, and one Chevrolet has taken it back to the garage of Jace Nelson. Noah Joyce now moves up to 4th, giving Cal Lovell 5th. Darren Ingram now assumes that 6th position. Darrell Harris is 7th. John Peterson is 8th. Zach Krastowski, I was going to say he may be 9th, but Hen Bordeaux is trying to take a look at it, as she currently sits in 10th. And that is actually our leader, Luke Smith, sitting right behind the tail end here of the field. They have finally caught them. And I'm wondering how Luke Smith will decide to try to see if he can grasp and if he can conquer these two. Inside line, he's going to see if he can hold it. Does he have the tires to continue making moves like this? Yes, he does. Piece of cake here for Luke Smith. That puts Hen Bordeaux, the 10th place driver, a lap down. And that should put Zach Krastowski a lap down. Look who's up into the wall. That is Tommy Bordeaux hitting the marbles.
Careful, Tommy. You're still on cold tires.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of that last night with Nick Nickerson biting the wall there at Iowa. On the first lap, coming out of 4, went up and smashed that wall. And I think Tommy Bordeaux just felt a little bit of that. I would say the update with the tire compounds out there, still feeling a little funny out there for Tommy Bordeaux. I think he's trying to do his best right now not to go another lap down. There he goes. Now he's got it. Nice and warm they go, and now we'll be able to put some distance and get away. All right. Whew. That was close. So Luke Smith now not going to be contested at all here. Still ahead by about 3/4 of a second over Garrett Sydnor, who's once again looking to see if he can be the Triple Crown winner. And he may be rally capping all the way to the end if he can do it. Scott Fleener gets caught up in the lap traffic just a little bit longer than everybody else. That's going to put him 3 seconds off pace. And he's now going to be figuring out how to play Chase. What a tough run. Talk about last lap. The only driver, if I am not mistaken, and making sure my calculations aren't correct, Tommy Bordeaux is our only driver to break into the 22-second mark, and not by a little bit.
Oh, yeah, 22:26. He's really cruising.
Yeah, well, seeing the times out there on the track are a median of about 23 and a half seconds. He's running 1.3 faster than anybody else on the track. That's what a nice set of tires will do for you, as he took those back on lap 46. So as they start to set in, Tommy Bordeaux going to trying to get a little more speed and get back up there. Hen Bordeaux is now down in the pits. It's like 4 tires and fuel for the 26 Ford. And back at it. Luke Smith still cruising out there. 55 laps on this tank of fuel. I think everybody's starting to teeter on the edge. Unless he's been doing some fuel conservation out there, clutching this thing around the track. We've ridden with him for a little bit, about a lap or so. And it does not sound like he was clutching it at all. But I'll tell you what, Luke Smith is really, really doing a great job here. As he is just almost walking away with this one. So, we'll see if Kremet can do it here.
Looks like Noah Joyce is deciding to come down pit road.
Our first driver out of the top 5 coming on down. Noah Joyce in the 31 Toyota. Maybe just thinking the best of it. His last lap time was a 23.3, which is not quite a second fall off. 22.41 is his best time. USORL, like I said, is looking for drivers, guys. Don't forget, you can sign up. Sponsor a race if you want to sponsor, you get your business out there. You can even get that done. We have no fear. We can get her done. Let's check anybody out there, see if anybody's got anything going on. I think John Peterson is going ahead. I believe just let Hen Bordeaux go by. Yep. And Bordeaux on those fresh tires. No sense in even fighting that one. Darren Ingram and Zach Krastowski coming on down pit. Oh, the 31 of Noah Joyce.
Oh, no.
Right in the background of our view of them coming down pit road, the 31 Budweiser machine brings out our first caution here of the night.
Wow, and that right there is something that some of these drivers did not want to see.
I know it may be a stupid statistic, but there is a possibility that Luke Smith, qualifying on the pole here tonight, comes down, pits, takes 4 tires and fuel, and could lead every lap all the way to the end. It is possible. We'll see. All right, looks like John Peterson decided to opt out of pitting. So we'll see as John Peterson may be coming down much later. He is the only driver yet to pit here tonight. I believe along with him and Zach Krastowski. I don't believe Zach Krastowski has come down either. Man. So trying to squeak out just a little more fuel there. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. Noah Joyce and what causes this first caution flag here of the night. Yep, I feel the ice skating there. That's cold tires. Round he goes. Bummer. All right, pace car lights are still on. Still remaining in the lead is Luke Smith. And most of these drivers will get their wave around here. should bring a good chunk of them back onto the lead lap. If I'm not mistaken, I think Zach Krastowski, Tommy Bordeaux, I believe at least reached the lead lap. I think Noah Joyce will actually be a lap down.
Yes, you are correct on that. All right, here we go.
All right, everybody catching up. Come on. Green flag back out. Everybody seemed a little slow getting around the track, especially if they were a lap down. Now I don't want to start that far back. Noah Joyce, as you can feel, he's a little agitated. Hen Bordeaux a little farther back than that. Boy. Not where I'd want to be starting that one. Luke Smith still leading this race. Cal Lovell sitting in fourth. Hoping to see Cal Lovell make a little bit of noise out here. Michelob Ultra Machine out there having a good time. Certainly sitting in fourth.
Definitely, as of right now, a lot of these drivers are getting their best starts of the night. Currently, right now, I think one of our biggest movers is actually Daryl Harris as of right now, who cracked the top 5.
Yeah, that he did. Right now, the number 9 Chevrolet doing awesome. And I've got to say, you know, when DJ's even out there in the chat, I know he's tuned in the broadcast during the race. Hello. Don't watch me, buddy. You, oh my God.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I think every time we get put our lens on him, things start happening. There's a nudge with the wall. All right, Daryl, we'll stop. I'm sorry. Moving on to Garrett Sydnor. Sydnor now sitting second. He's got 2 Fords sitting behind him as Cal Lovell still trying to run up to the front. Checking out some of our times. Once again, Tommy Bordeaux is burning the tires off that car. We turned 1 and 2. Ran at 10.89. Good Lord. Guy's definitely on the fly here. Trying to see if Tommy Bordeaux can get back up there.
Of course, Tommy Bordeaux is currently the first car 1 lap down, so he's probably just fighting to get his lap back.
Yeah, I think he's got plenty of gap, though. Before I think they have an opportunity to have Zach Krastowski catch him here. He's got about a 4-second gap before the Wendy's machine can find him. And Bordeaux all the way back in 10th. Noah Joyce 11th. So punishing here for Noah Joyce. Quick slip up there and turned his race upside down. I think the only thing that may save him here is a quick caution and try to bring everybody back together and get that restart going again. I wonder if Garrett Sydnor is sitting back trying to set Luke Smith up here. You would think he'd want to get out front to get the clean air, and then work more on staying in front of Luke Smith. Very odd for him to be sitting back here during this run, as he was losing an ample amount of time at the end of the last stint there before we got our caution on lap 58.
I think Garrett is just trying to be as patient as he possibly can. I mean, we still got a little more than halfway through the race, so could be just scouting him out, just seeing if he makes a mistake.
But you and I both know passing in dirty air is a lot harder to do than when they were racing side by side there. You know, for a quick moment. You know, especially even at the beginning of the race, you almost think that would be your time to attack.
That too, it very well could be.
I'd want fresh tires, fresh air, and out front. That would definitely be the way to be. Especially going ahead and knocking down the times you want to knock down. So any wins I have in iRacing are few and far between. But when you're out front, I tell you, it's a fantastic sight. As when you're leading the race, you're running what you want to be running, and no one, you're not following behind anybody. You're not being, no one's your guide around the turn. You're just able to do you, and it's really an amazing feeling. I guarantee Luke Smith is just kind of getting some encouragement out there from his crew chief that he's doing the right things out there. Just like hitting his marks, you're doing good, doing very well, making sure his lap times are staying consistent. The fall off is just about where it needs to be, or to be expected, and then kind of weighing around situations like that, whether that is going to be exactly what he's looking for, and how he can work out the longevity of the remainder of this race. He comes across the line. We'll be starting lap number 80. At the line here in Richmond. This has been all Luke Smith racing, the 39 Chevrolet out front. And he's got a gang of Fords sitting behind him. Garrett Sydnor, Scott Fleener, Cal Lovell, followed by another Chevrolet of Daryl Harrison to round out our top 5. Last 2 drivers remaining on the lead lap will be John Peterson and Darren Ingram, who are sitting currently 6th and 7th. Tommy Bordeaux, our first driver, a lap down. He's currently sitting in 8th, followed by Zach Krastowski, Hen Bordeaux, Noah Joyce's Toyota, and that is the last vehicle that is still mobile. Jace Nelson and William Page have taken it back to the garage on the respective laps of 27 and 28, neither of which were caused by a caution. I'm not sure what caused those gentlemen to retire tonight, but hopefully we do see them return in next week's race.
Speaking of next week's race, I can give everybody a little details on that. Next week, we are going to be heading to the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. And will that be a Dash for Cash race? Fairly certain that one is. Douglas will check in on that, see if we got a Dash for Cash race happening then. Fairly certain. Yep. Yeah, for the Coca-Cola.
Yes, it is.
Good Lord. We'll be running 150 laps there. Boy, that's gonna be rough. Do like the longer races. Definitely test the guys out there and their stamina, how they can handle behind the wheel. Guys get into that tunnel turn, gets pretty crazy. But Douglas, I don't know if you're noticing how this track is starting to rubber up. You notice as the drivers are entering turn 1 that we're actually starting to get some tire skids entering through there. Is there anybody out there that may be sidestepping a little bit?
Not really from what I'm seeing. I'm not really seeing anybody getting loose because, like you said, I think as of this point, the tires are, like, completely rubbering up on the track. As of right now, everybody is staying towards that low lane, just trying to stay out of the marbles.
Now, it definitely makes it a one-groove track as we sit in our Goodyear blimp view looking down at Luke Smith and Garrett Sydnor. Fleener May areas hitting the edge of the screen there. And Cal Lovell right behind that. So pretty uncontested race here as Daryl Harris still hanging out. Our only Canadian out there on the track, the number 9 Chevrolet, is sitting in 5th. John Peterson currently sits in 6th. Looking for Darren Ingram and Tommy Bordeaux. And Tommy Bordeaux, man, yeah, he's sitting, I would think, about 12 seconds off pace. So right now that is hurtful. But a driver who has returned back down to pit road, Noah Joyce. He's currently been sitting in pit road for the last 2 minutes. I don't see any damage done to that race car there. Hopefully this is not him throwing in the towel, as I'm sure Budweiser would like to get over the Dylan Mulvaney issue and try to get some more sponsorship out there on the track. Come on, Douglas, get and we'll move on. All right, awesome. So right now, Luke Smith, I don't see other than a fumble or a failure on his own driving, a mistake that he would make to make him lose this race. This one almost looks like it was over from lap number 1.
Yeah, and Luke Smith, he is just steadily increasing his lead over Garrett Sydnor. He's currently sitting in spot number 2.
Yeah, that 4/10 gap is starting to grow a bit here. One of Sydnor is starting to lose a little bit of confidence, whether he is going to get him or not. I would say these are actually the 2 closest drivers out there on the track, as Fleener and Cal Lovell are separated by 1.3 seconds between the 2. Looking to see if Cal can come up with something here. I think there's a name I've been missing for quite some time. Where in the world has Davey Hazard been?
Davey Hazard, that's a name that we haven't heard in a while.
Yeah. Where in the world is that guy? Yeah, we definitely got to get rope some of these guys back, get Kerry Rogers back in here. Colby Martin hadn't been in here in quite a while.
And Barnes is another driver we haven't seen.
All right, William Page says he just got his internet back. How about that? Yeah, I know. Hate to see that disconnect. That 42 Mellow Yellow machine did need a solid finish here tonight. Hopefully we'll see William Page be able to return at Charlotte. I think if William Page was able to go out there and turn a couple of laps, at least wouldn't put him dead last here in the race. Lap number 95 is halfway complete. Still all Luke Smith's race. As I believe, if I am not mistaken, that is Hen Bordeaux, is it not? Yes, it is. That is Hen Bordeaux actually going up and getting close to the rear bumper here of our second place driver. Hen Bordeaux currently running a 23:31, which is slower than our 2 drivers up front, so she may be going another lap down here. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that should be 2. Yeah, it should be 2 laps down for Hen Bordeaux.
And unfortunately, while we're talking about that, Noah Joyce is still sitting down on pit road. It makes you wonder if he's serving a penalty.
Man, I'd hate to see that. No, right now he is muted currently. I would love to know what happened to Noah Joyce if something happened to that car. This race is just not going his way. I would say, I would question right now, Douglas, if you're having a rough race here at Richmond, is this kind of a precursor to what we're going to see at Charlotte? You know, Charlotte isn't quite a short track, but it does have a few tunnel turns. It is a 2-groove track. I approach the turns more in the 3/4 line up if possible, but you know, if you're having a tough night here, does that transfer over to Charlotte? Is it going to be a tough night for you there as well?
Well, you definitely can't compare because Charlotte is another monster in itself. But definitely someone like Noah Joyce and who else do we got? We got Noah Joyce, Jace Nelson, and even William Page, who was having some bad luck tonight. Charlotte is just another game in itself. I mean, you don't want it to transfer over to the next track, but it really all depends.
Yeah, all drivers can do is hope. Fortunately, if you think travel time, we were at Bristol, now we're at Richmond, and then we head down to Charlotte. So a nice little figure, L shape there, the guys are having to do. So not a lot of travel time. They should be able to move into one track to the other. plenty well rested up here. As we start really digging into the playoffs, I believe the week after Charlotte, we should be dead center of the playoffs. And I would say, I think I'm wondering if that's why we got guys a little nervous about not showing up here and trying to run. And we'll have a bunch of guys for the Dash for Cash at the Charlotte race. Luke Smith and Garrett Sydnor here looking at it, and it looks like Sydnor is starting to see Luke Smith slip away. 1 second gap here with 22 laps left to go. All Luke Smith's race as he looks like he puts, I believe that is Zach Krastowski, another lap down here, the Wendy's machine. Going ahead and waving on by the lapped car. That should be, that's going to be Sydnor on the bottom. So Sydnor trying not to let Luke Smith get away and didn't lose any time. Still about 1.1 off the lead here for Garrett Sydnor.
And that lap is super duper good for Luke Smith. He is still extending that lead over Garrett Sydnor. He's basically like hot coals on a barbecue. Just extending that lead and burning it down.
Yeah. Right now trying to get something cooking here. Moving up. I'm looking to see if Scott Fleener can come up with anything. He's about 1.3 behind. So Garrett Sydnor stuck right in the middle. Smith 1.4 ahead. Scott Fleener 1.4 behind. Keep scurrying on through here. 19 laps left to go. I'm sure you guys out there who have been watching the broadcast here since the beginning this has actually been one of the more calm races that we've actually seen from the USRL League. This track and the things that happen here definitely get pretty wild out there. And a lot of shifting around. A lot of guys trying not to kill each other out there. But that is not the case here tonight. Everybody else is hanging back a good bit. They're hoping to run things back down. Okay, here's one for you. Where's Cam Barnes?
I don't know. Where is Cam Barnes?
Where's Eric Sable? What in the world's going on? Benjamin White, where are these guys? I've roped these guys back in. All right. Yeah, hopefully we can get a few more of these guys back. Dorian Davis, that was a driver. I think we'll probably see Openchowski next week. Maybe we'll be able to rope some of these guys in and try to get them a little going on. Hey, there's Jay saying, what about Hennessy? Yeah, Andrew Hennessy. Yeah, he is currently right now. He is online. Blake Trawick. Man, where's the cow? Austin Hakes. Oh my God. Now, who knows? Maybe we'll be able to see him here in the next couple of races, but we were looking currently at 15 laps left to go here. 14 now that Luke Smith has crossed the line. He is out in front by almost 2 seconds. And Garrett Sydnor may be looking at a second place finish. Still not bad for the first 3 races, going a 1-1-2. That definitely works as a good combination, especially if you're a fighter. Garrett Sydnor hitting second, Scott Fleener's third. Cal Lovell fourth, and Daryl Harris sitting in fifth. Pretty smooth race here so far. Only one fumble up there in the back. That fumble up involving Noah Joyce here back on lap number 58. Here's him live time as he went around in the Geico restart zone, and that was on lap 58, and that is all it took to bring out our first caution here of the night. That was actually the leaders then passing him, and that actually looks a little identical to exactly what we're watching now. Now Garrett Sydnor is trying to run down Luke Smith. These guys haven't changed much for their positions. 11 laps left to go. So in the last 11 miles here, Douglas. This is going to be pretty touch and go for some of these drivers. You know, it's just when you kind of have almost a race and you see it at this, I would say at this angle, at this caliber here, you know, is this kind of a done deal? Drivers are already wrapping up the pit pit's already wrapping up the pit boxes. Guys are getting ready to start loading things up in the truck as they just kind of march this one off.
Some of them, yes, but if you're sitting in the top 5, I wouldn't pack up your stuff and go home just yet, because anything could change in the next couple of laps. One thing that Luke Smith does not want to see, he does not want to see a yellow flag come out of the chamber. So basically, he's got this race in the bag, but unless we have a yellow, it could change the whole effect of the race.
Yep. We readjusted, and we are seeing Garrett Sydnor sliding all over the track as we get inside. Yeah, Sydnor's been having some trouble on exit 2. Trying to see how he's faring here. Currently sitting 2 seconds off pace. Right there. Having to correct a bit. The back end of the car is starting to slide out here. And with that being said, Scott Fleener has actually been spending the past couple of laps reeling him in. But now Sydnor looks like he's kind of straightening up here with 7 to go.
So far, Luke Smith, he is about to catch a couple of cars, and it looks like the guy in front of him, I believe that's Darren Ingram, who might be going a lap down. He's currently sitting in spot number 7.
Yeah, Darren Ingram would like to be able to complete all his laps here tonight. We are currently looking at the leader of Luke Smith. You are correct. 39 Chevrolet Luke Smith is starting to bring that Toyota into his radar here. And Ingram's starting to pick up the pace, taking a look at his lap. Yeah, with a 23:40. Slightly faster, just as fast as Luke Smith there. So I think Ingram's starting to tip into it here, make sure he can finish. 26 to 10 Bordeaux. Be the first one to jam Luke Smith up there just a little bit. I think Garrett Sydnor is wishing somebody would brake check Luke Smith here.
That's something you wouldn't want.
No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. You'd definitely get him going. I was nervous that Garrett Sydnor may be having a problem and seeing if he looped it on around. I think he could probably loop it around, caution, come out, remain in position, come down for tires and fuel, and then try to win the race. I call that sabotaging. Boy, look at Luke Smith. White flag next time by. This is all Luke Smith's race. Out by almost 2.5 seconds over the rest of the field. Top 7 drivers are on the lead lap. Tommy Bordeaux unable to get one of his laps back. We have white flag here at Richmond. USRL is getting ready to shut her on down here. Luke Smith is only 4 turns away from a win. Garrett Sydnor currently sitting in 2nd, Fleener 3rd. Seeing if he can finish it. Here's turn 3, turn 4. Luke Smith coming on around, coming to the line. Not bad. Luke Smith is the winner here of the Collins 125. Scott Fleener comes in 3rd. Checking in on Daryl Harris. He is our 5th place finisher. All right. Awesome job here. Fairly clean race here for 90% of the race. Only 1 caution out there. Find where all of our drivers had finished. Yeah, good job. Not bad, as this was a rather clean race. Awesome, awesome. All right, guys, hold on just a moment. As boy, John Peterson didn't like how Luke Smith had a clean car, so no picture time for him. We'll be right back, and we'll reel these guys in. Alrighty, guys, catching up with the third place finisher in the Harbor Freight Tools machine. That Ford comes in third here tonight, man. A pretty uneventful race, other than the little passing you and Garrett Sydnor did at the beginning here.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's my sort of usual plan of, sort of play for the long game. I'm usually pretty good at saving tires throughout a race, so I'm like, you know what? We could either sit here and battle for 10 laps and I can burn up all my stuff, or I could just sort of settle in behind him, and live to fight another day, try to come back at him a bit later. But yeah, then he just kept kind of pulling away from me. Every single line I was trying throughout the thing just wasn't working to try to catch up to him. Like, it was, for as little happened, man, that was a stressful race.
Stressful, man. How are the cars handling out there?
Oh man, this car on this track, especially at this temperature, is such a weird feeling. Like, it'll push in the beginning of the corner, and then you'll start to get loose like halfway through it, and then you'll understeer trying to come out of it, and then you'll get loose again. And it's just you have to have so much discipline on both your brake and your throttle, and just how much steering you're putting into the thing. A, so you can keep the car underneath you, and B, you can actually save your tires long enough so that you can go fast by the end of the race.
Is this the same sort of style of racing we're going to see from Scott Fleener heading into the Charlotte race?
I think so. This is kind of my style of just, take it a little bit easy at the early game, save my tires for when, the real racing kind of matters towards the end. But hopefully I'll have a bit more speed, so I can play a bit more with the leaders next time. But, a couple of good races under my belt finally, and, now that I've got some bit of confidence in me, hopefully I can be a little bit faster for the next ones.
Excellent. All right, now it's time to go ahead and talk to me about all the people out here watching you and the sponsors you got out there on the car.
Absolutely. So yeah, start with Harbor Freight. Sticking with me again. My team, Calaval Motorsports. Big shout out to them. Once again, my beautiful wife, supporting everything I do. My brother, if he's watching. Hi, Sam. And yeah, USRL for the great league, and you guys at Simtrax for the great broadcast.
Awesome. Scott Fleener, congratulations on your third place finish, man. And we wish you luck at Charlotte.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Yep. All right, that does it there. And Garrett Sydnor is going to be our second place finisher. Something tells me he's pounding on the steering wheel right now. Second place. Your streak has been broken, my man. How's it feel?
I mean, it definitely sucks, for sure. I definitely wanted it to be 3 in a row tonight, but I don't think I've ever really done that in my history of racing. So, yeah, just we had a good car. I didn't feel like I could put a full run together. Like, the very first run, I felt like I was pretty solid short or mid to long run, and then the second run, I just had only short run speed. Just was deathly inconsistent on pace, and like one lap I'd get Luke by a little bit, and then the next that he'd get me by almost a tenth and a half. So he just drove very, very consistent all night.
Yeah, and that was definitely the key to his success here tonight. it's been a couple of things that guys have been shifting back and forth. What is the winning strategy at Richmond? And it just seems to be it's that tire conservation. But how I was more concerned the amount of dirty air that your Ford was getting to the nose of that car. It just seemed like there was no way, unless you got him at a restart, that there was going to be a chance to grab a hold of Luke Smith, and set him in the rear view.
Yeah, I mean, my whole strategy was just trying to get the car to roll in the corner. My thing is that to do that, I didn't want to send it into the corner too hard, and that's just how I was burning my tires up more than Luke was. I felt like Luke was doing a very good job of letting it roll about a lane or two up in turns 1 and 2, and then finding a way to basically straighten out the exit. And I was just terrible in 3 and 4 on entry. I just could not get down into the corner like he could, and even when I did, I couldn't get it to roll on exit. And so I think that played a big part. Even if it was short one, I mean, I got to his bumper a couple times, and I hung with him for a bit there in that last run. But once it hit a cliff, and I was hanging on for dear life. And those last 10 laps of the race felt a lot different than the last 10 laps of the first run. It was gone. But yeah, tire conservation is really the name of the game. Not only Richmond, but just iRacing in general, especially with this car. It really caters to it.
All right, well, speaking of catering to it, that's going to be it at Charlotte. You're going to have to figure out how to baby that car around the track, and it's hard not to really stab the throttle there. That car does a nice roll into the turns, and you want to just absolutely floor it all the way out. What's going to be the key to success to possibly getting back into victory lane next week?
Yeah, I think the big thing is with Richmond, the speed differential from straightaway to corner in regards to how much you're on and off the throttle. Whereas at Charlotte, I feel like, you can be on the throttle a bit more aggressively and not pay as much for it, even though you definitely can pay for it. And I mean, the last time we rolled out to 1.5 miles, we won it. So, and we weren't particularly great there. And I feel a lot more better about Charlotte than I do Vegas. So we just got to be, in the hunt all night and, give ourselves another shot to go get win number 6.
All right, man. Well, we're I'm sure there are a bunch of people out there rooting you on. We'll be rally capping to see if you can come away with another win. I know we're supposed to be impartial, but hey, man, sometimes you see that car out there and you're like, man, this guy's got it this time and does a great race. Garrett, go ahead and shout out the all your sponsors out there, the people out here watching you.
Yeah, absolutely. The Frontline Enterprises Ford was really fast tonight. I appreciate John Peterson and all the boys on that team, Cal, Will, Scott Fleener, even Luke, and everybody else that is on that team, and all the people that may be watching or support me on the side. Ray, my family, and Forest Glory Art and Photography that's on the car. And they're a pretty big part of this deal. And all the other front row sponsors, Love Travel Stops, Ruta Bush, Generator, and everybody else and thank you guys for putting on a broadcast. I know we didn't have quite the car count we would like for tonight, but hopefully we got some races coming up where we can do that.
All right, buddy. And we will definitely do that. We'll see if we can come up with that car count. Spidey Sense is telling me Dash for Cash has got to be
yeah, I know money's involved. It piques interest a little bit more.
Ooh, imagine that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Garrett, congratulations on your second place finish, man, and we'll definitely be catching up with you next week, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll see you in the booth next week.
See you, brother.
Yeah.
All right, that is Garrett Sydnor in the number 50. Douglas is getting ready to creep up and grab a hold of Luke Smith here. Appreciate you guys out there in the chat for hanging on. We are going to go ahead and grab a hold of Luke Smith, our race winner here of the night in the 39 Chevrolet Flex Shot machine. Douglas, go ahead and take it away, man. I think you got him.
Yes, I do, and we do have our current winner, Luke Smith. Luke, I tell you what, it seems like from the start of lap 1, you definitely ran away with this race, leading every single lap of the race. Tell us, how did the race feel overall after this dominant finish?
Well, I knew that right off the bat in practice, I knew that I had good long run speed, and I knew that it just all I had to do was qualify on the pole or in the front row and be able to get control of the race. And once I got control of the race after lap 1 getting by Scott, I knew that I was going to have a really good shot to win this thing because I was just able to control my pace. I was able to control everybody else's pace, and those guys were using up their stuff, or at least I think they were using up their stuff to try and catch me. And just I never turned it up to full on go mode, so I was always saving a little bit in the tank to just nudge out on those guys if they started to contest me for position.
Most definitely. For the whole entire race, it seems like you had that car dialed in and you were running so smooth as possibly can. We also had one caution tonight with Noah Joyce, unfortunately, losing control of his car. Tell us, what were you feeling when that caution came out? Did you think that the race was going to change at all?
I knew that there was a chance that somebody tried something on pit road, but I just kept telling myself, like, stay calm. There's no pressure. You're clearly one of the top cars in the race. All you got to do is come down pit road, get in your box, execute, and then get back out there on the track, because I knew that if I came out of the pits in the lead or like somewhere in the top 2 or 3, I knew that I had a chance to get back control of the race and be able to take on my pacing around and being smooth with it, so that if somebody did contest me, I could turn it up.
Most definitely. We finish off Richmond, and next week we are going to be heading to the famous Charlotte Motor Speedway. Tell us, how are you feeling going into that race?
Ooh, I love me some Charlotte. I'm excited. I feel like, it's a possibility of getting some back-to-back wins here, but I know that we got some rippers out here, and there'll be somebody up there with me. I know I ain't gonna run away with that one.
Most definitely, it should be a contending race there. Luke, give us your shoutouts.
First off, I want to shout out the admins of this league that they put it on. I know we didn't have a super high car count tonight, but as always, it was really fun. We hope we can get some more guys out in the coming weeks. Some of the guys that ran earlier in the season. I'd like to shout out Cam Barnes. He put me on the team and let me run with his logo on the car, and he hasn't been here the last 2 weeks. He needs to come back. I'd like to shout out you guys. The broadcast is awesome. It's always fun to go back and watch. And lastly, I want to shout out Ray Tustin. He made the paint for this car because John was in a time crunch, and this paint scheme is awesome. I love it. Kind of shows my personality as a driver, kind of a Ross Chastain type driver. And lastly, I want to shout out John, because John puts most of my other paint schemes on, but this one by Ray is definitely a masterpiece.
Most definitely a masterpiece indeed. Luke Smith, once again, congratulations on your win tonight. And that is your feature winner, ladies and gentlemen. Patrick, back up to you.
All right, Luke Smith, congratulations. Good luck at Charlotte, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
All right, excellent job here from our guys at the USORL Cup Series. You've heard us say it once, we'll say it again. Keep in mind, we are going to be heading to Charlotte Motor Speedway here in the coming week. That is going to be an excellent race, one of my favorite races, especially that track in general. It definitely can bring a lot of upsets, whether it be a little car contact out there, a driver you didn't expect. Somebody can handle that tunnel turn a lot easier. There's just so many different things that can happen at Charlotte, and there's not something to really kind of turn your nose up at. These guys do an excellent job. And the USORL will be having a Dash for Cash race next week. Keep in mind as well, not only the USORL League is looking for vehicles and drivers out there, we've got a bunch of other ones. I've got a 2004 NASCAR Cup League starting on Monday, I believe on the 29th. And don't forget, we've also started to dig in with the Bandit Racing League out there on Wednesdays. Guys, keep in mind what we got going on out there. There's an easy way. Go to simtrackbroadcasting.com, or you can even check here on the YouTube link, set your notifications on, and that's when we will have our upcoming run. Douglas, last words.
Leave Richmond behind us, and now we're going to be heading to the famous Charlotte Motor Speedway for another entertaining show. It should be fun.
All right, I'll tell you what would be entertaining if the track starts falling in again over between 3 and 4. Ha! Just kidding. All right. All right, everybody, from all of us here at Simtrax Broadcasting, bringing you the USORL League. Be well, be safe, be kind. We'll see all you guys next time.